Welcome once more, my dear friends, to the Free Evolution Company channel. In today's tutorial, we are going to be solving HND 2021 Part 2, Question 2 under Object-Oriented Programming. Before we get started, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. In this tutorial, we are going to be using our Java programming. Let's move to the question and read the question together. This is a question, so let's read it together. So you can see that we are on question 2. And the question says that create three classes named SWE, NWS, and CSN. Create another class named ICT, which inherit both the above classes. Now, create a function in each of these classes which print I am a software student, I am a network and security student, I am a computer network and security student, I belong to all categories. We have two dots, SWE, NWS, and CSN, respectively. The question continues. These functions should have the same name display, except that of the class ICT, which will have the name display ICT. Now, in the main method, create an object for each of the above class and try calling Romans 1 function of SWE by the object of SWE, function of NWS by the object of NWS, function of CSN by the object of CSN, function of ICT by the object of ICT. Call the function of each of its parent by the object of ICT. In a comment, state which type of inheritance is this. Also comment on how you have resolved ambiguity in the above. So this question is 15 marks. So for this exercise, I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code from my IDE. And as I said, we will be programming using Java. So before I get into the programming part of this question, there are certain things that I want us to understand. First, you can see that in the question we are told that create another class named ICT which inherit both the above classes. It means they are telling us that we should create a class called ICT that inherits from the SWE, NWS, and CSN. But from that line of statement, it tells us clearly that this question is having some problems. The first problem that it has, which is the most important of the problem, is that classes doesn't support multiple inheritance in Java. That is the first thing. It means that if we want our class ICT to inherit from the SWE, the NWS, and CSN, we cannot define them as classes. So for us to implement this successfully, we are going to use what we call an interface or interfaces. So what is an interface? An interface in Java is a reference type that defines a contract for classes to follow. And the important things with this interface is that it supports multiple inheritance. So we will need to define our SWE, NWS, and CSN as interfaces, not classes, because classes do not support multiple inheritance. So let me move to Visual Studio Code. So I am actually on Visual Studio Code. I'm going to proceed by going to the terminal. So I'm going to start by creating all the folders that I will need. So I'm going to need make directory. I will need a source folder. That one is created. Make directory. I will need a classes folder. That one is done. Okay. So you can see my 3 folders here. Then I will move to my source folder. I am going to create my, I will start with the csn.java. Now I am in my csn.java file. I'm going to start with, I'm going to make my interfaces public. Okay. This one is okay. I'm going to move back again in my source folder. I'm going to create swe.java. Let's remember that I said that here we're using interface. Then I will move back to the source folder and I'm going to create the nws.java file. I want to copy this. Okay, I think that we are okay with this interface. Let me move back to the equation to check something. Okay. So I think we are okay. Then we move back to Visual Studio Code. Then in my source folder, I will now create ict.java un. I'm going to start by overriding. So with the override decorator, it helps us to override the display method so that we can have a unified output. And then now we'll be able to display what is found in the CSN, SWE, and NWS method. So this first stage is necessary. There's no way that we can do without it. So now, according to the question, I will now define my custom method. So we are done with the ICT class, which inherits from the CSN, SWE, NWS classes. And I really want you to note here that, as I said earlier, classes do not support multiple inheritance. So for us to be able to implement multiple inheritance, we needed to make use of interfaces. That is why we had to define our CNS, NWS, and SWE classes as interfaces. Means that instead of using classes, we had to use interface. So I think that at this point, everything is okay. I will still move in my source folder. I will create another folder which I will call main.java. So before going to main.java, let me move back to my ICT class. So in this ICT class, you have to use the override decorator to overwrite what is in the inherited classes or interfaces, and then now that will permit us to be able to add our own custom display ICT method. So moving back to my main.java file, I'm going to proceed with, so I will start with creating instances of I'm going to do the same for the SWE interface. I'm going to do the same for the NWS. So I think that we are okay. Sorry, here is main summa m. And here this is a method. For the comments for each of the instances, the comments remains the same. So here we will have to create an anonymous class to implement the SWE interface and then display the SWE information, and the same for the NWS instance. I think I need to copy this. Then finally, you can see that after we created the ICT object or instance, we'll go invoke the display method and the display ICT method. So with the display method, the ICT instance will inherit all what is found in the classes SWE, CSN, and NWS. And then the display ICT is the ICT class custom method. So with this, we are done with the exercise. So let's move back to saying everything is okay. Let's move to the terminal. So I'm going to compile my files. I want to compile all the files in the source folder and store them in the classes folder. Syntax error, let me check. They should not be, so I need to move back here, save all. Then I get back to my terminal. Okay, let's check if we are having our compile classes. Okay, so you can see all our compile classes. So to run it, I need to move to the classes folder. And then I will use Java. So this one are 4. So you can see our output. These are the inherited methods from the CSN, SWE, and NWS. And you can see that it is exactly what is found in their method, which you can check up here too. And then we have a custom ICT method, which is I belong to all category, which is this. So with this, we have solved this exercise. So thank you once more for watching this video, and please, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button below to encourage us. Thanks once more for watching, and we meet in the next content.